Okay, today we're going to talk about real numbers. We're going to talk about what they are and how we can order them from smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest. Okay, the first thing to know about real numbers is that all numbers are real. And I mean all numbers. 2, -6, 3, 0, 2.72, 3/4. If it's a number and you can write it down on a piece of paper, it's real. And that's why the real numbers category is at the very top of this chart. Now, we have different kinds of numbers that we're familiar with, and they're all real numbers. We start at the bottom with counting numbers, and those are the numbers you used when you were a little kid. Okay? I want 1 cookie, 2 cookies. We count the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Those are counting numbers. Counting numbers are part of whole numbers, part of integers, part of rational numbers, and like any other number, it's a real number. If we add 0, we have whole numbers. So whole numbers are counting numbers and 0 also. Integers are numbers without decimals that are either positive or negative. So -7's an integer, 8's an integer. Rational numbers are any numbers we can write as fractions and decimals that end. So the question is, what are irrational numbers? And it's pretty simple. Irrational numbers are any numbers that involve pi, like 3 pi or pi over 2, or square roots that come out as a decimal if you put them in a calculator, like the square root of 2, square root of 7, square root of 3, but not the square root of 16, because square root of 16 is equal to 4. So that's our numbers. Okay, so we can go through this example and put this in our chart. 0 is a whole number, an integer, a rational number, and a real number. -1 is an integer, rational and real number. Pi over 3 is irrational because it has pi in it. Square root of 36 over 9, if you simplify that, square root of 36 is 6, and it's 2 over 3, so it's a rational number, comes out as a fraction, and a real number. Good. Now, for ordering and graphing real numbers, if we were to graph it, for example, the 2/3, it's between 0 and 1. And if you chop 0 and 1 to 3 intervals, 2/3 is in between. -3 over 7 is between -1 and 0. And again, we can kind of chop our interval into 7 parts. Okay, so we can graph numbers on a number line. If we want to compare numbers, I think the easiest thing to do, and I know the notes here are a little bit more complicated, is to put this on a calculator. So take pi in a calculator, divide by 15, put this in a calculator and see which is smallest, okay? And we can do that, so turn everything into a decimal, and we can order from smallest to largest. So I've got a bunch of examples here. As you can see, if you're asked to determine which number is the highest, you turn everything into a decimal, and see which is the biggest. Same thing with this one, as well as this one. Okay, so what I'd like you to do here, if we look at our review, is what kind of numbers are these? Well, it turns out square root of 0.25 is 0.5. Okay, that's a rational and a real number. Square root of 1.35 comes out as a decimal, so that's irrational and a real number. Square root of 20 comes out as a decimal. That's irrational and a real number because it's a square root that's not comes out as a decimal. Square root of 25 is 5. That is a integer, a counting number, a whole number, a rational number, and a real number. Okay. And that's it.